I was fortunate yesterday to meet up with our local Dahua rep and able to pick up a couple cameras to try out. I'm going to compare those and open them up and take a look and see what we have. Hey there, how are you today? If you're new to the channel, I'm Sean with Accent Alarms. I have about 25 years experience designing, installing, and servicing quality, long-lasting automatic gate systems. By automatic gate system, I mean I work on gates, gate operators, cameras, access control, and wired and wireless connectivity. And I've recently added video production to the list of things I do. I'd love to get your feedback, good or bad, down in the comments section, and please take a second to click on that subscribe button. It really helps us out when you do. Keep your head on a swivel and be safe out there. Okay, let's take a look here. So this is a Dahua N52BF3Z, and it's their 5 megapixel bullet camera. And it comes with the normal stuff, some installation screws, security Torx bit, coupler, and software. Let's see what we got here. So it's aluminum. Oh, I really like that. It's got a good feel to it. Aluminum, got a good weight to it, doesn't feel super light. And what I'm going to compare this to, because for about the last 8 years I've been an Axis guy. So this here is the Axis P1447, and it's, you know, Axis's comparable camera to this camera. And right away I can tell you that this camera is mostly plastic. This is all plastic. This mounting plate is metal. Plastic. I think this is aluminum here, but this is plastic. So I will tell you as well that I have had problems with this. You just tighten this down here, there's no friction points, so it's pretty easily tilted. But overall, this is a good camera too, the Axis 14 series. I've put a bunch of these in. I like them. See, this kind of goes together. You need a male RJ45 connector there, and it feeds through here on your wall, so it's kind of like 3 pieces putting this together. First you mount this, feed your cable through, then you'd feed it through here, then you mount this onto there. Alright, screw that on, and now you connect your cable, and then this mounts to that. So you really kind of have 3 things to mount, and then this swivels around on there. Like I said, I put a lot of these in. They're good cameras. At first I wasn't a big fan of this plastic. A lot of times what will happen too is I'll go back to a job site and this will have blown off. It's just held on there with a piece of plastic. So that's sometimes a little bit of an issue there. But you know, this doesn't have that, and you can see we've got the little notches here, so when you tighten the screw down it wouldn't pull like that. I'm sure if you pulled hard enough something's going to give, but you know, if a bird lands on here it's not going to pull it off. So you see the way this works is this cable feeds in here, so if you had a hole you could feed it straight through. If you didn't and you were running this on the surface, that would pop out. That's an alright design. I don't see anything wrong with it. So let's kind of compare the specs on these without getting into all the deep details of them. So both Axis and Dahua have minimum advertised price. The map on this unit is $405, and the map on the Axis product is $749. So 85% more for that camera, the Axis camera, than this camera. I wonder what's going on there. Let's take a look. They're both 5 megapixels, full frame rate. They both have low light. They're respective versions. They're both vari-focal. They're both wide dynamic range. They're both IP67, I think. Let me look here real quick. Is the Axis IP67? IP66, 67, yes. They're both IK10 rating. That's the Vandal rating. Both the same there. They both are PoE. Axis has Zipstream, they call it. That's H.264. The Dahua is actually H.265, and they have what they call the Smart H.265, which is their version of Zipstream. So a lot of things similar here. And actually a few newer features on the Dahua. So I pointed out a few that I went through in between the two. So the Dahua has more pixels, effective pixels, and the RAM and ROM on the Axis is higher. Shutter speeds faster, minimum illuminations higher or less. Works with less light, the Dahua does. The IRs on the Dahua are rated for nearly 200 feet versus 100 feet on the Axis. The focal length of the lens is 2.7 to 13.5 on the Dahua and 2.8, 8.5. So you got a little more variable here on the Dahua. We already talked about the compressions a little better, newer technology. You can do H.264 or H.265. Other than that, these cameras are essentially the same as far as features. I do know that the Dahua comes with more built-in intelligence, smart analytics, if you will. So the Dahua comes with cross-line detection. That's where you draw a line on there, and if a vehicle or person comes at it from this direction, you'll create an alarm and can record or do other things on that. And you also have an intrusion built into this where you can build a shape, and if something goes in or out of that shape, you can create an alarm or motion fault on that. Those are available on the Axis, but you have to pay more for those. So I'm going to hook these up. I've got a Milestone corporate system here. I'm going to compare the video. I'm going to tell you, I'm expecting that the video is going to be very similar. Probably something that the naked eye won't be able to tell a difference of. And for 85% more, I don't know. You'll have to decide that what works for you. I almost did forget one of the big differences in these two cameras is Dahua's got a 5-year warranty. Axis is 3 years. And well, I'm thinking of it. I'll tell you, you can buy these from Amazon. You can also buy these from Amazon or places like that. Neither of those companies are authorized dealers, meaning if you buy one of these from them, either one of them, and something goes wrong, you are not going to get any warranty. So make sure when you're purchasing online that you buy from an authorized dealer, or you could find yourself throwing some money away on an inferior product. A lot of them are black market products or just B stock, or you know, they're not authorized to sell that product. I don't know where it comes from, but you know, do yourself a favor and buy it from an authorized dealer. Okay, let's look at some video. Use the pause button in the slider to move around the video, as it will help you compare stuff. One of the keys to notice here is my face. With the wide dynamic range on, we eliminate some of the shadows. The colors aren't quite as deep, the image looks a little more washed out, but it does do a better job around my face. So you'll have to decide what works better for you. Here with the lens wide and me about 75 feet away, you can see that this is pretty good for detection and observing, but certainly not going to get ID at that distance with the lens wide. That's a pretty wide angle. This is just a quick run through of turning the wide dynamic range on and off and turning the label on. You can see how it changes the image pretty drastically. With wide dynamic range on, the image often looks washed out. But it does eliminate those heavy shadows, and here you can see it around my face in particular. Here I am again at about 30 feet, and I'm going to skip doing the 75 foot. It looked about the same as the other one. This is a unique and a very helpful feature on here. Usually you'd have to go through the settings to do that. Watching the lower left as I zoom in and out with a fixed camera. Typically with a vari-focal lens you'd have to do that in the installer settings and setup. Here we are zoomed all the way in, and you can see I'm about 65 feet, and that's a pretty good image for 65 feet away. And as I step back, I move closer to about 75 feet here. Note this is a digital zoom, so I'm taking the pixels that are already recorded and just zooming in on them. Here's a transition from low light color to black and white. Here it's about as dark as you can get being in the city. I don't have any secondary lights on. That light on my ladder rack there is actually from the IR illuminator. So keep that in mind how dark it is right now. Typically you'd have no image without any IR illumination. It is pretty pitch black out here. In fact, I've got some other cameras that cost at least twice as much as this one, and they are pitch black right now with no image. So to wrap up quickly, I'll give this camera 2 thumbs up. For the price and the extra 2-year warranty over most other cameras, which makes it 5 years instead of 3 if you get it from an all-star dealer. And image quality is right there with others. Again, it's a 5 megapixel camera, which is more than double of 1080p. One of the key things that I really liked was that most cameras that are vari-focal, what you do is your installer or during the setup, you control the focal length, so either zoomed in or wide or somewhere in between, and then in the settings you do a focus, and that'll focus the camera, and then that's how your camera stays, unless you have your installer come back out, or if you are an end user and do it yourself. But it's not from the software. So with my software, which was Milestone Corporate, I could set this up where as the end user I could zoom in and out. Obviously that's something in the software you can enable or disable if you don't want your people doing that, but it's nice that you can do that. Most cameras you can't. So like I said, 2 thumbs up for the price, considerably cheaper than the mainstream brands that I've used in the past. That would be your Bosch and your Axis, and then that extended warranty. You really can't go wrong. Just make sure you're getting it from an authorized all-star dealer. Your Amazons, and they are not authorized dealers. Look on our website and you can see all the people selling these, and you don't know what you're going to get from them. So that's it. Hey there, I'm Sean with Accent Alarms. Keep your head on a swivel and be safe out there.